So now it's time for the floor of this tub. As you can see, it's pulled away at the bottom, and there's a nasty little sort of a dent in that floor. I'm not real keen on taking this floor out, and I'm a little bit worried about the actual structure of the bed once I do. But on closer inspection, obviously the steel rails will have to come out, but there is this angle on the bottom that will remain, so I'm kind of hoping that the structure of the tub will remain relatively intact. And just looking behind some of these rails, there seems to be some wasp nests and nasty stuff there, so I think I really do need to take it apart and have a good look at this floor. And if you can see from down here, that dent's a lot more noticeable, and I don't really think that I'll be able to fix that in situ, so it's going to have to come out. There's a couple of bolts, and the rest are like these large sort of pop rivet things that have got rounded heads on the other end, so I'm not really sure what they are, but either way, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to have to cut them all out and then source whatever they are for when we put it back together. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so as you just saw, all those rails are off, and I've taken most of those bolts out. And I thought there was just some kind of a silicone or a resin sticking this floor on, but on closer inspection, it's actually spot welded as well. So plan A is probably out the window. And plan B is going to have to be to repair this in situ, because, well, look, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to give it a go, because spot welding all of that again is going to be an absolute bloody nightmare. So hopefully I can make the repairs without actually removing it. It's not a waste of time though. Look, those rails had to come off. They are actually, look, I'll show you. They are absolutely caked on the inside with just crap and what I'm assuming are wasp nests from who knows. Anyway, they had to come off, and we want to get them re-galled, so we haven't wasted our time. And any of the other bolts that I've removed had to get removed anyway, because they were rusty AF. So, well, let's see what I come up with. Just spent some time with the wire brush, which is reasonably gentle on the aluminium, just cleaning off all the crud and the that black silicone stuff, and it's looking in not bad shape. We've got a little bit of corrosion here and in a couple of places, but nothing too serious. I have noticed that all of the pop rivets on the edges are holding really well, so they're not going to need to be touched. But I have noticed that it has lifted in places along the rails, which means that I'm probably going to go for a trip down to Adolfo's, because we've got an idea about the spot welder to make it a little bit more usable. I'll also pick up some timber and get this thing off the ground, because it's quite hard to work on while bending over. So see you in a bit. Moved indoors now. It's the middle of winter here and it's a little bit wet at times, so I thought I'd bring it all inside. Had to move my table over, move the roller, shift the mill around and just make a little bit of space. I'd love to complain about the lack of space, but I've seen some of the projects you blokes are doing, especially over in the mother country. I mean, you blokes are building them in sheds not bigger than the cars themselves, so I'm not going to whinge about that, that's for sure. So yeah, we're indoors now. There's my little stands that I made, not bad for a welder. So we're going to get stuck into this. We've got where it's lifted there. That's where this hopefully will come in handy. The extended bars on the spot welder. They're the original bars, much shorter. We've given it a bit of a test run on some sheet, which you probably saw. It seems to be complaining a little bit. I don't know if there's a bit of voltage drop or whatnot. I'm not a Sparky, but it is working, so hopefully it'll do the job. It's certainly long enough to reach all the awkward places on this tub, so let's get cracking. Alright, minor disaster. So I've got it all clamped up, all ready to spot weld. We've attempted to spot weld, and lo and behold, I've just found out that 240 volt spot welders are not adequate for spot welding aluminium. Which is why it was complaining on that previous little test that we did. It just won't stick. Apparently, I've read online you really need a 3-phase spot welder in order to get the high temperatures required to spot weld aluminium. So, that's okay. Plan B. I've got it all clamped up. Nice and neat. Obviously, the bend will come out later, hopefully. But we're just going to have to use the old MIG and do it that way. I don't have 3-phase power, and nobody I know has 3-phase power, let alone a 3-phase spot welder. So here goes nothing. Alright, the welding's gone quite well. We've just cleaned up those welds. Now I'm working on getting the bend out of that floor, and I'm extending up to my roof line and using a bottle jack. I'm kind of hoping that the roof will be strong enough just to push down this bit of aluminium back into some semblance of square. Anyway, next video will either be me fixing a garage roof or showing you the results. So as you just saw, the whole jacking off the roof thing really was more trouble than it's worth. The old rubber mallet seemed to have done the trick. They have come back really nicely. Now it's just a matter of securing all of these rails again with some welds, bending them back into shape as I do, and then knocking out any of the sort of damaged egg-shaped sort of dints in there with a dolly and hammer. Alright, I've just been straightening out this here. As you can see, once it's pushed down, it comes back to flat, so I'll have to find a way to clamp that down when I weld it. But I've just been using this little bracket that I made as a saddle and just whacking it with the hammer to get it back to flat. Up in the corner here is what it was. So as you can see, it's come back into reasonable sort of level. It's just that it's separated from the tub itself. So once we weld that up and fix up these other rails, we should be looking pretty good. Alright, so we'll call that a win. we're not at 100% yet, but the most egregious stuff is gone, and we're reasonably straight. If I can hold my camera and get the meter ruler out, we're actually looking reasonably good. Look, there's a few dips and bits where the actual braces go, but I'm not too concerned with that. The actual floor itself is a little bit, how you going? I might play with that a little bit later, but I mean, look, at the end of the day, we've got a floor that's not flapping around. It's going to be strong. One thing I did learn was I had to go over some of these welds again. I had to grind them out a little bit, or grind a channel and go back on them. I've decided not to grind them back as aggressively and just leave some meat on the bone there. I mean, it's not seen, so I suppose strength is a little bit more important than looks from the underside anyway. The only other things to do is I've noticed there's like this hole that shouldn't be there. It's a little bit of corrosion. I know there's a pinhole over there. That'll have to get fixed as well. But other than those things, which I'll do in the course of my my repairs, floor done. Alright, we've been working on the well, top, but it's actually the bottom corner here, and the wheel well. I've reattached the brace there. Also, the that brace there was up in the air a little bit. That's a bit ugly. I'll probably fix that a little bit myself. I cleaned up this brace as well, just to put it in there, so we've got everything in its right orientation, and we've been working on getting this wheel well nice and secure. That's actually pulled away from some of the spot welds, so we'll have to put that back in, and just doing some general panel beating across this side here. So as you can see, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's coming along quite nicely. It's never going to be perfect. You know, there's some really deep gouges in here that will require a skimmer bog. I know some people a little bit against that, but you know, I mean, for mine, provided we're not filling up holes that are massive and we want a nice job, I don't mind that at all. Still got a little bit of a dent to fill up and fix there, but yeah, slowly we are getting there. So as you can tell by this bloody mess, I've had a lot of issues with the aluminium wire bird nesting in the rollers in the welder. I do have the right gear, I do have Teflon liner, and I do have the correct rollers for aluminium MIG welding, but I've decided that I'm sick of dealing with it, and I have been dealing with it for this whole project. I went and bought myself a spool gun. Michigan's not the most well-known brand in the world, but it's about a third of the price of anything you might have heard of, so hopefully it'll do the business. Alright, so we're just working on this other lip here. Most of it was missing from an accident which happened all across here. Managed to straighten this out to a certain degree. Still got to fix that, but I think we'll leave it there for now, for this week. Yeah, slowly we are going to get there.